Jesus.
Hello, everybody. We got Jenny. Jenny over there with Lucy. And Roro. Is that
Roro's right here.
What's his faces?
The munchkin head right behind Lucy.
We believe the details make the difference.
Oh, that's me. I didn't have something muted.
Mr. Johnie. So just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder for those of you that are new. We don't take questions from the chat on Sundays. We usually post on the community page. And Jenny and Johnie and I will repost on Saturdays. And that's where we take the questions from. We just don't take them from the chat on Sunday nights. So make sure to post your questions on the community page. The announcement goes up on Saturday, and we keep it there until Sunday before we go live. But Johnie was just telling me that it's only allowed up for 24 hours now, right? A community post?
YouTube is going to archive, so it deletes, basically. It deletes your post after 24 hours. So we'll put it up on Saturday, put your questions in, we'll see it Sunday, and then it'll go away after that.
Whoever is hosting posts the questions, and then we share on our page, so it all goes to one place.
Mm-hmm. So check the community tabs on all channels, or whichever one you want, Saturdays, and you can post your questions there. Just so for the people in the chat don't think that we're ignoring you, we just don't take questions from the chat. We take them from the community page. So with that said, today is September 11th.
And I just want to say too, like in light of the Queen's passing, like here, yeah, get your horns, Becca. You don't have your horns. In light of the anniversary of September 11th, as I said before, people are not yours to keep. They're yours to cherish. Make sure you say you love them while they're here. Even if it's hard to do, because, you know, sometimes those close to you get on your nerve the most, but it is still one of those things that you need to be conscious of, that tomorrow's not promised. It's not promised to anyone. So sending prayers and thoughts out to those who this is still affecting, because mind you, first responders are still battling with the effects of 9/11, not to mention the trauma of those who were there and witnessed or saw it on TV even. So just keep those people in your prayers as well. And as I said, make sure you cherish the ones you have while they are here.
And those that lost loved ones, there's a special that ran today on PBS about the children of 9/11. The children, like a lot of people were pregnant that lost a husband or spouse. And there's a lot of children that grew up without a mommy or daddy. And it's a special remembrance for me for my friend Marty. His name was Mark Rothenberg. He went by Marty. He was on the plane that crashed outside of Shanksville, Pennsylvania. I always try to remember him and his family.
Yeah. So it's a sad day, but we're gonna try to keep it light and get petty, so.
What does your shirt say, Becca? Y'all have the best shirts.
Petty.
Fuck the patriarchy. Fuck the patriarchy. So
Skewy is here. Little Fortescue.
Hi, little Skewy. You're not keeping by the food bowl. That's nice.
He is so, like water running off my sofa when he lays on it. Last night we were sitting watching a movie, and I just had him in my arm like this with his little feet up, and he just sat there for like 2 hours watching this movie propped up against the back of the sofa.
They're just getting so long. Long.
He is especially. He's like, woo, look how long. Like he's as wide as my shoulders.
You can wear him like a scarf.
Yeah, he's my furry scarf. You can do anything you want. I had him on top of my head the other day, and he just laid up there on top of my head like a good raccoon hat, You can do anything with him. He's just like water. But Roro, little Aurora, keeps falling in the toilet. I had Johnie and Becca laughing in the after show last week. So, I shouldn't drink tea all day, right? Sometimes I gotta go, and like in the after show, it happened. I'm sitting here drinking, liquids, and I go to the bathroom, and you get like bare butt going down to the toilet seat, and this furry little thing goes right by your butt and splashes into the toilet. And when you're starting to go down, things are starting to like flow a little bit. It's like, I am going to pee on her. It's like, so I'm like standing up, grabbing her out by her scuffing her, and sitting back down so I could pee. Kittens.
She wants to swim. She wants to swim.
Oh my God.
We're wondering why your litter box is made of water and not like sand like her.
She has something else with water. Like every time I take a long soak in the bathtub, she's like coming in and falling in the water sometimes. And she's apparently likes water, but oh my God, like that going down and feeling that fur across the bare butt. It's like, oh God, there she is again.
It's funny to hear about all their different personalities. Like,
like Lucy used to like to watch the toilet paper go down when you would flush, so she would always like get on the edge of the toilet and watch the toilet paper go down. So I've had cats that did that before. Roro is something else. So she's like jumping in before I go. So it's not the toilet paper.
I went to Barnes and Nobles yesterday, and right next to the Barnes and Nobles, there's a Halloween store, the ones that pop up temporarily for the season. And I saw little devil horns for little Becca Bellatrix, but it wasn't Velcro. It has like the string with the little bead that you pull. So I'm like, but it was for dogs. Yeah, but it was for dogs, like small dogs. I'm like, that's probably still too big for a cat,
I've got the devil ears on a Velcro thing, but she's not big enough for it, so it wouldn't stay on her. And I also have a Santa hat with a beard. I tried it on Skewy the other day, and it's too big on him, so I may have to wait till they're full grown to dress them up. I have another funny cat and bathroom story. I was telling Beth Cat this earlier. I'm pet sitting for my guitar teacher, and he has a cat that destroys toilet paper. Like you cannot keep it on the roll thing. So whenever you go over to visit his house, if you're using the downstairs bathroom, they keep a roll of toilet paper in the pantry. You have to grab the toilet paper out of the pantry and carry it with you to the bathroom. Well, apparently when I was there Friday, I left it in the bathroom, forgot to put it back in the pantry. So I go over there, and I had like stopped and gotten a Starbucks on the way, and drinking all this coffee. So I get there, and I'm like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom first thing before I can even like pet the kitties and stuff. I go in the bathroom, and this mound of shredded toilet paper on the floor because I forgot to put it back, in the pantry. So I'm like, well, shoot, I didn't have time to go hunt for more rolls. So I peed, and I just started picking up shreds of paper off the
Oh my God.
I was like, it's all shredded. Cats in bathrooms and me this week. That's it.
No, that's crazy. Toilet paper is expensive too. God dang it.
Yeah.
Dang it. Shit. Well,
make them get a job like Lassie. That's what I say.
I know. It's like, you gotta get to That's what I used to tell Moose all the time. It's like, buddy, you need to get a job. It's time to stop mooching off your parents.
I love that comedian Tony Baker because he's got two cats, and his black cat Midnight is like so lazy. Like he's always like he'll scoot him across the floor, and the cat just lays there while he's scooting him, and he goes up to him all the time. I need you to get a job. He's so funny when he does it. I love that.
That's cool. Well, any special announcements, you guys, for the week or anything like that?
JennLynnTarot.com if you'd like to schedule a reading. I did a little ghost hunting today in a house, so I love helping people when they've got spirit activity in a house. nothing malicious. So I also do that on the side, but you can't schedule that on my website. Sorry. And you have to be in Illinois.
What about you, Mr. Johnie?
I was trying to think. Nothing. I don't think. I got, okay, in the class, I do like example readings to show you how to read the cards and things.
Oh, yeah. We'll do a practice question on Roro. What is her fascination with the toilet?
And I bought some really small ones so that I could use them on camera. And I didn't realize how small was, because me and measurements aren't friends. And I will tell you, I didn't look it up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But like, this is the standard size of a tarot card. And then this is what I got. So this is real interesting to try to use when you got big mammoth hands.
Yeah, my Lenormand cards that I use
really small
are kind of like that. They're petite.
Those are, Johnie, those are bigger than the little baby Lennies you got me.
Well, are they? These
I
are
think
little.
so.
But I have no
I like the
announcements.
They're
'Cause
like
they're
the
so
size
small.
of your tiles, aren't they? The little
Yeah.
baby ones.
Mm-hmm. I like
I
those
figured
because
these be good for tableaus too, I guess.
yeah, it'll fit into the frame much better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, while we're on this subject of tiles, for anybody who is watching YouTube videos and we go a little bit blurry, I have discovered on my phone, because I watch most of my videos on my phone, that my YouTube setting of a higher resolution photo isn't holding. So like when you were doing the tiles the other night, Becca, I had to go in because it's defaulting to like 180
ADP.
pixels, and I have to up it to like 480 or something to make it clear so it's not all blurry. So
Okay.
anybody that's having that problem tonight or anything, like when we hold the cards up, if they're blurry, if you'll click on that little wheel settings and change the resolution, it makes it much clearer.
Yep.
I think YouTube's messing around with that quite a bit right now.
And for those of you that have, which I doubt, but for those of you that have not caught up with Johnny's streams, he does every day live, Monday through Thursday. He's live for an hour at 5 o'clock Pacific time,
Yes.
Johnie. So make sure you have the notification set for that.
And if he's running late or does something comes up, he does post on his community tab later tonight.
So keep an eye out for that. I'll try to get live this week with a couple more tableaus. I'm not sure. We'll see how stuff goes. Mercury is retrograde, right? That little bastard. So.
Had a full moon, and thank you, Mark.
Well, the full moon was really pretty because it was orange out here.
Mm-hmm.
Johnie did a grand tableau.
Right?
Johnie did a grand tableau Thursday night, which was awesome, and then Becca revisited DJT's Friday night, was awesome.
So yeah, I need to figure out what next one to do because a lot of news came out this week. It was like, it's like I was getting whiplash.
More lawyers getting lawyers. Those lawyers are in deep caca.
Yeah. So I was wondering if we could start with two very gross questions first before we move to the petty stuff. If you guys are okay with that, just to get it over with.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
So in Texas, there is a judge who was appointed by George W. Bush. His name is Judge Reed O'Connor of Fort Worth. Has granted judgment on Braidwood Management Inc. So the whole thing was these companies do not want to carry, they don't want to provide their employees with access to drugs for HIV and AIDS. So he ruled in their favor, saying that, well, of course they don't have to because that's against their religious freedom. So, and then in the opinion, it's talking about it encourages sex between males and males, as if heterosexuals do not get HIV.
Well, it's
There's
kind of like Hobby Lobby when they didn't want to pay for contraception.
Yeah, and then shortly after, Chick-fil-A followed suit, and now we're seeing these companies that are not wanting to provide life-saving drugs to people because of their bigotry against the LGBTQIA plus community. So I don't even know where to go with that, because I personally don't think it would change. Otherwise, Hobby Lobby and Chick-fil-A would have changed. They would have been overturned already. So I guess the
My
question
thing is this: why isn't it questioned? Like, for instance, the hospitals and their employees, people who were saying that they weren't going to get the vaccine because it was against their religion, because the vaccine is tested on stem cells, and then the hospitals released, well, some of them released memos saying, so is Tylenol, so is Advil, so is Preparation H, so is this, and so is that. So if you take milk of magnesia, if you take these things, then you do not have a religious objection to the vaccine. You just don't want to take it. So say that, but don't say it's your religion, because your religion does not prevent you from using Preparation H and Advil and all these other things. So it's not their religion, because, mind you, their religion says a whole bunch of things they can't do. It has nothing to do with just being gay or having HIV. What about all these other lists of things you can't do that you also support? Don't hire people who eat shrimp. Shrimp is a sin too in the Bible.
Pork is but we're gonna cherry pick, Johnny, because we like bacon. So, but in the lawsuit, it was saying that it was forcing these companies to subsidize for Christian companies to subsidize homosexual behavior. That's what it said. So it's like as if AIDS only targets homosexuals. Look at Magic Johnson. He's not homosexual. He's straight, and he has AIDS. So, and like that lady you were talking about last week, was it last week or the week before, Johnny? The one at Walgreens that didn't want to sell, was it condoms?
She couldn't buy condoms because the person behind the counter says it's against his religion.
Then why the hell you working where they sell condoms? Go work at Chick-fil-A. Go work at Hobby Lobby. It's I just don't know. So what happens to the employees that cannot get access to life-saving drugs?
So the judge has already made the ruling?
Yep. And that was not a Trump judge. That was a George W. Bush judge.
It's probably still a Federalist Society judge.
Yep.
Roro's tearing her toy off.
There they go.
What is this company again?
Let me see. I got it here in my notes. The judge Wednesday granted judgment to Braidwood Management Inc. Braidwood, BRAIDWOOD Management Inc. in its challenge of coverage, and then it says the drug. And they're letting them do it under their religious exemption because of Christian non-religious belief, rejecting homosexual behavior and sexual activity outside of marriage between one man and one woman. His entire opinion was disgusting. Like it.
Well, the burden is definitely on them, and it's interesting because this is the good news card with the fish on it. So it's my card for Christianity or supposed Christians. It's already done. It's already complete. But I get that, this is my card for America. I get there's someone that's going to offer help to them. If their work isn't doing it, there's someone that's going to offer help, because this isn't just the gay community that's affected by AIDS. So, and I think this will get a legal challenge also, because I got the Tower and the Judgment card here. But I do get that there's a man that offers some other options, some help. And he may be a doctor or something that comes up with something to offer support.
I get as far as the ruling goes, because I get the Queen of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, Justice, Eight of Swords, so it kind of sticks. So it's there, but there's someone here with the new action they've taken up, some man here. The Ace of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles are going to start some sort of coalition, some sort of collaboration to have a new judgment. So there's somebody's not going down without a fight, even though this in particular thing may stick, but it is not going to go unchallenged though. So we'll see but as far as the employees goes, they're going to start some sort of, or someone, or maybe one or two people are going to start some sort of group.
I get that health here for people, the workers, the abundance of people that work, we're going to have to pay for this independently without insurance, because their insurance isn't going to cover it. Which brings me to another disgusting question. Alabama.
That's a way to start a sentence already.
Yeah, I know. Ashley Banks. A girl by the name of Ashley Banks, white girl, was arrested on May 25th with a small charge, having with a small amount of marijuana and having a pistol without a permit to carry. The 23-year-old admitted to having smoked marijuana 2 days before she found out she was pregnant. You know what Alabama did? They locked her up in jail and kept her there.
Because they have a law that if you're pregnant and do any drugs, they will lock you up.
They will lock you up. So they were trying to force her to go into long-term rehabilitation. However, she did not qualify for long-term rehabilitation. Nobody would take her because she doesn't exhibit the behaviors or anything else that would tell a healthcare professional that she suffers from addiction.
Right,
so
because it's not heroin, it's just pot.
So she's in jail, pregnant, stuffed in an overcrowded area where she's sleeping on the floor, and she's pregnant while they're saying they're keeping her there to save the fetus.
And
she
not feeding her regularly, because she said she was hungry.
Not feeding her regularly. So she starts bleeding. They take her to the hospital. The OBGYN says, you have this, and this. It could lead to a miscarriage. What does Alabama do? Throw her ass right back in jail, exactly where she was, and kept her there. And for an additional 5 weeks after that diagnosis, the girl continued to bleed with no help.
3 months. 3 months she spent in jail.
Bleeding the whole time. Bleeding the whole time. Under the bullshit, fuck the patriarchy, under the bullshit that we're doing this for the fetus. Meanwhile, you're letting the mother bleed out on the floor? How are you saving the fetus if you're killing the mother? Make that make sense.
In the United States, this happened.
Yep, Alabama.
Not some third world under the ground country. United States.
You know, we keep hearing about all these states that want to secede from the union. Can we kick some of them out?
Seriously.
Give them away, please.
I mean, how long would they survive? They don't want to pay taxes. They want to carry guns because that's the answer to everything. You know, oh, I don't like the weather today. Let me go shoot my neighbor. You know, it's like, have at it, you know? So I want to know, will there be any retribution for that girl? Because I get it that that's their draconian laws, but you just traumatized a woman and almost killed her. You know?
doing a so-called, for entertainment purposes only, YouTube drug that is legalized in a lot of states now. And by the way, they could care less about her not having a carry permit. They were probably happy she had a gun.
Yeah, it's Alabama. And she had a little bit of pot, and she smoked 2 days before she found out she was pregnant. And their answer is throw her in jail and let her bleed to death.
Literally, that was their answer.
No, literally, Johnny. To save the fetus, but we're not going to give you medical attention. And even when the doctors tell us what's going on, we're still going to deny you of it to save the fetus.
I get there'll be some sort of settlement to her for her losses and anxiety and everything, but the system is basically corrupt. I feel like somebody's going to help her get that, because I feel like there's going to be like a lawyer or somebody that comes in and helps her to get some sort of settlement. We're going to hear more about this. This is going to be all over the news, I get. All the details of everything she went through, because there's more we don't know.
I think the good part in this is that she got national attention. And more of that needs to happen, just like the young lady who was, the baby had no skull. And then the 10-year-old girl. We need more of that. As hard as it is to be so public with the thing that needs to be so private, it does actually help the next person, even if it's just accumulative over the years. But the 6 of Wands, even a woman in this card, the 6 of Wands, person center of attention, there is some victory to be had. The Queen of Pentacles there. She has the advantage going in. She needs to hook up with the right people, which I think there will be some sort of advocacy group that just may help her. The 2 of Swords, Ace of Swords, 4 of Pentacles, there's some sort of something standing in the way of her victory right now, but it is not something that can't be overcome. It's just in the way right now. Because right now, in the word of warning is a judge of some sort, but word of solace is the Fool. Something will begin, and there is something secure for her with the 9 of Pentacles. I would go more for intentional infliction of emotional distress, because you can prove that one more so than you can try to go against the law that says the world put you there. But I would go for that personally, but there's a judge in the way right now.
I get that there is a judge or perhaps people in the council whose career and decision-making may come under serious scrutiny and a lot of problems there. And then there are public calls. So birds and gardens. So there may be more whistleblowers within the state or in the community that have been subjected to this type of treatment. Because if you look here, these are 2 men, okay, career men. So perhaps the lawmakers, the judge, but there may be more call to action, perhaps something that they're negotiating to make this more perhaps of a civil thing within the community. But and also we'll hear more about it in the community. So, yeah.
You know what's interesting too, because I was talking to Becca-Canet about this earlier, in some of these for-profit prison systems, you can be charged by the day for being in there. So if her bail was like $10,000, like who can come up with that, right? But you can walk out of prison and owe them money for mistreating you. Yep. And here we go in the drapes.
Oh no.
Roro, the toilet bather.
Oh, Roro.
He looks so innocent.
I'm starting to wonder if she should be the one getting the devil horns and not.
I'm kind of wondering. She's a quiet type sometimes.
So,
like any kid, once they're quiet, they're tearing up something.
Yeah.
Drawing on the wall, flipping paint, you know.
Takes concentration to be destructive.
So,
unless you're drunk, because I don't think he could concentrate on anything. Too much Adderall.
Too much gum chewing, don't know how to walk.
So now we're getting petty. Herschel Walker just did a thing the other day with what's her name, Nikki. What's her face? The Nazi, Nikki Haley. And he was saying that the Constitution says that all men are created equal, and and I'm just like, this man is the GOP's Uncle Tom circus sideshow. He has no clue what is going on. No clue. And he's still refusing to debate Senator Warnock. So I want to know, what planet is Herschel Walker living on? Because he's clearly...
Every time they show excerpts from his speeches and stuff, they are incoherent. They don't make sense. He's obviously got some brain damage. Obviously.
He should hook up with Sarah Palin.
He's neck and neck with Warnock in the polls. It's like, oh my God, you guys are going to possibly elect somebody that's brain damaged over having a reliable Democrat in there.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to look at if he's going to win. Yeah, almost killed one of his ex-wives. Doesn't know how many kids he's got.
Well, and
of course,
the
Trump doesn't either.
Constitution that was written by white men that thought blacks weren't even people said all men are created equal. So I'm cool with that. I can't. I know that he's probably got some serious brain damage, but somebody should sit that man down and muzzle him because he's an embarrassment to black people.
Yeah, he's not right. He's not balanced. I get he won't win because people are starting to see how burdened he is. He may be taking a trip somewhere to heal. You know, like need to get away, go to a little spa or something. He's gonna end up doing something else though, because I get him like going to work, partnering with somebody else, maybe in the media or something like that. Yeah, you put him on Fox News. He'd be a great, somebody to partner with as a analyst.
That man is so gone. He'd say something stupid like ice cream doesn't have bones. And like something so crazy, like he is so off his rocker. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. You should like ice cream because it doesn't have bones. What? What, Johnny?
So that's what the rest of them sound like. I said what's wrong with him, which is a loaded question. What kind of help does he need? There is a moral turn here, Wheel of Fortune, Hierophant. Something turned within his morals. It has something to do with money or a steady paycheck and things, fancy things, shiny things with the Knight of Cups, something that sort of lured him in, and the Three of Swords, then he became separated from those morals. And so right now, that's not what this says, because Spirit does not give up on you. People will, but Spirit is just part of what happens, because it understands something deeper than humans do, that this script that we're playing right now plays out just like that, and you'll have to do another one. So it's not as serious to them as it is to us, because these are our lives and their decisions affect everybody else, especially if he becomes part of our government, thus part of the voting process, thus part of the obstruction, so forth and so forth. But Ten of Swords and the Fool, there's no saving him, if you ask me. He's going to be the person who wanders off the cliff, even though, I mean, okay, to really narrow it down, it's kind of like the rest of the Trumpian people. If you just look at the room full of statues, you will realize what Medusa is doing to everyone who gets close. All the lawyers need lawyers. All the assistants are in jail, and all of the other people have been pardoned. But no, let me go sign up anyway. So it's the same with him. He's a fool. He'll jump right off the cliff every single time because why not? He's not savable, if you ask me, but that's just, if you ask the human, that's what I'm going to say.
So I asked if he would go to the Senate. I pulled 3 cards and I didn't get the answer. So I pulled another 3. So the first 3 are saying that there is a commitment with independence that's very significant. What independent would look at that and be like, that's my guy? Don't ask me. Don't ask me. But ring, fish, and key. Or it could also say that he's got a lot of donations behind him. Somebody is funding him, is another way to read this. So then I asked, will he go to the Senate again? And I get that knowledge of the elections is that it's going to be very, very painful and burdensome for him. So I would read this as a no. So perhaps it may appear that they're neck and neck right now because there's a lot of money being poured into something. Because remember, a few months ago, he was over Raphael Warnock. And then it switched and Raphael, he was like 10 or 12 points behind. You cannot tell me he made up that sort of ground. The more he opens his mouth and the more he steps up in it. You know what I mean? It's like something's not making sense there, but.
Or a lot of independent voters vote and it causes him not to win.
Yeah.
And you have to also keep in mind, I say this a lot, now this is just me being cynical, that polls are not accurate.
Nope.
They're statistics to fit a narrative or just so we can have something to report on this week. Like, oh, Biden's approval rating is 9, and then next week it's 43, and then next week it's 57. You didn't ask everybody in the country, so you do not have an accurate description of how everybody feels. The same in Georgia, same in anywhere else. The thing that we need to look at is when the votes start to come in. What are those numbers? What do they say?
Yeah.
Speaking of, because you're getting like a lot of money came into him, can we look at something else? I just remembered Rick Scott was on Fox News and was questioned about the money that disappeared from the Senate campaign fund for the GOP. And he said, well, we spent a lot of money early. It's like, yeah, we know because you went over to Italy on your little yacht cruise or whatever. We spent a lot of money. So like, we're out now or low now. So did he spend the money early or did he take it? He tried to say they spent it early.
Early.
Oh, polka dot belly in the air. Hello, sweetie.
Scott, did you take the money?
Did you take it or did you spend it early on did he spend it on politics or did he spend it on himself, I guess?
Yeah.
Somebody's laying on my cards. How are you supposed to read when this is laying on your cards?
No,
Cats are rude, I told you.
I'm going to start calling her Retro. Ooh, he's going to end up in court over this. I lost it. It fell out of my pocket. I don't know where it went. It's success for him. It's in his pocket. He's lying. He's going to end up in the courts, burdened. Tower moment. Maybe even looking at some prison time or something. Campaign finance. Like, you know, like this is like these two cards together. Like he's like in a prison cell. Campaign finance issues. Retro. For him too. Give me that card.
Yeah, there's a destruction of morals and morality. With the Hierophant and the Tower, also something missing in the government there too. Right next to that, the good old Nine of Pentacles. This is a lot of money. This is a lot of personal money for me, though, but not to fear. The Ten of Pentacles is right behind. That's big money. That's GOP too for me too. So big old GOP money. And then Knight of Pentacles, this is the steady money. So this is like donations or checks that are coming in on a regular basis. And then there is the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords means theft, thievery, and not just theft and thievery. But the Seven of Swords depicts a person sneaking into a camp to steal the supplies or the weapons and then sneaking out. But they do leave something behind, so there is a trail to what he has done. Now, mind you, everybody knows what just happened here. So but yes, Seven of Swords means theft. It laid it out. You can't read that no other way. So there you go.
You know what? It's interesting. I was expecting to see that all the money went to Trump's legal bills because, you know, the RNC has been paying all of Trump's bills. I don't get that at all. I get public speaking and rallies. Because it's Heart, Birds, Garden, Key, and Book. Also, this could have something to do because Storks is here as well. Because I get a double line of 5. I wonder if a lot of it was put towards the campaign because the center card is the garden. I'm wondering if a lot of it was put towards the campaign because I don't see money. I see social media. I see talking points. I see very passionate loyalists, widespread internet trolling and lies, and then the insurrection. But I don't see money.
But you don't see any money. So maybe he's using his social media twits, you know, to fuel the rallies and fuel the campaigns as opposed to using money to do it, which is what it was supposed to be used for.
Or the money was being used and negotiated in private for the rallies that took place before the insurrection. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I'm seeing rallies, I'm seeing very passionate supporters, a lot of tweets online, a lot of vicious trolling online. Yeah, that would be effed up, but I don't see money. I don't see the money. I got no money cards here.
Because it ain't none.
It was supposed to be because it was the Senate GOP campaign fund. So it was only supposed to be used for Senate candidates.
Oops.
Uh-huh.
Oops. So, okay. Another fun question. Christina Bobb, Trump's lawyer.
Just got a new lawyer.
Just got another lawyer. Just got a new lawyer, like Jenny said. Christina Bobb is the one that signed the paperwork that told DOJ, yep, we gave you back all the classified documents. She just lawyered up. So What happens with her? Is she obviously she's going to be interviewed by FBI at some point?
Let's see. Wait a minute. We've got all his former lawyers have had to go testify to Jan 6 committee and the DOJ grand jury because Cipollone and them just did it. You've got Michael Cohen spent time in jail. You got Rudy Giuliani has lawsuits galore. Can't even pay his alimony that his wife is due, but he bounced a $10,000 check to her because he's got so many freaking lawsuits.
And not to mention the legal problem. Not to mention the legal issues that he's about to start having with Georgia for trying to overturn the election in Georgia and Arizona and Pennsylvania and Michigan.
Who would ever go work for him as a lawyer? It's crazy. The lackeys that he finds. And even, what's the guy's name? Cobb that worked for him for a little while.
The mustache man. The
mustache man. He's got long hair now. It's like crazy. Used to have short hair, bald. He's been all over the news saying he should be blocked from running again. He should be arrested for the insurrection. He should be, he's done with him.
Oh yeah, and then
so let's start with these documents.
Let's start with Cannon first, and remind me about Ty Cobbs because that would circle me back around to Bill Barr because there's some juicy information that came out about Bill Barr over the weekend or during the week. So
we're gonna look at what's her name?
Christina Bobb. Christina Bobb. Is she gonna be in legal jeopardy?
Why are you lowering up? What's happening?
And she's been all over the media.
The right-wing media. You would think, shut your mouth.
A lawyer knows.
Don't your mouth. I swear these people are getting their lawyers from Craigslist or Penny Saver. Like I don't make that make sense.
Make for lawyers. Take all your Russian money that's down to pennies now and go to Penny Saver and get a lawyer
with a coupon.
Because Baba the goat herder's not going to give you any. Take your little wheelbarrow over there and hire a Penny Saver lawyer.
Oh my God. One of them isn't even a lawyer. I forget which one it is, but one of them is just a talking head on OANN or something.
One of them was an insurance company lawyer, so never did constitutional law or anything. God, what was it I heard? Like all three of his main lawyers now, haven't served in a criminal case. I'm like, how did they even pass the bar?
I just don't ask me, Jen. They must have gotten it from Trump University because
but they still have to pass the bar. It's like, how did they get past the bar? Because and why is he hiring people that haven't tried a criminal case or anything?
Because he hires only the best people.
Because he can't get any decent criminal representation. Nobody wants to go near that. Nobody with a brain wants to touch that.
Miss Bob.
I did a reading on her too. I think the people like her are more enamored with the celebrity. And that's why Donald Trump is still appealing because they want to be Perry Mason. They want to be a big time lawyer. They don't want to just work in a small law firm somewhere and just be comfortable with their life. No, they want to be famous. Well, now you are, because again, the lesson Donald Trump has taught, be careful of asking for attention. Because now you got it.
But Johnie, it's like there's plenty of evidence.
Trump the businessman
that goes near him is in trouble. Why would you risk that for fame? Because the only thing you're going to get famous for is breaking the law and going to jail.
Trump, the businessman, has to have these people around his support, for these documents to be treacherous. He's going to celebrate. So, in other words, they're his scapegoats. He's going to celebrate when she's tied up with the law. She gets burdened. She's going to go away, and she's probably going to get disbarred. It's like she's isolation. She's probably going to end up in jail and disbarred.
Dear God.
But that's a scapegoat. It was her fault. She signed that. I didn't say that.
Yep.
I don't.
And And how is she going to prove that he was being dishonest with her? Because now all you got is her word against him.
Yeah,
But she
I don't
did not
recall.
personally go and look for everything. And even if she did, how would she know that Trump said, yeah, look, everything's gone, not knowing that he had a bunch of other shit stashed somewhere else? You cannot trust that man. And how are you going to prove that your client lied to you? How?
Why is she getting a lawyer? Why is she lawyering up? I get the death card and the 9 of swords. So,
That's gonna hurt.
something has a major transformation that has caused her worry and stress. It has something to do with the legal system, the justice system itself. There is going to be a very, 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 very rough road ahead with the 6 of swords because of a man here, someone of authority that she was working with. This is not necessarily Donald Trump, because the 10 of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, somebody she's working for, yes, but it could be somebody else too. Like there's, because the 3 of Pentacles means a collaboration, so somebody else is in this situation with her. I know there's another lawyer, I did a read on him too, I forget his name though, to where they said he drew up the document that she signed. And so there's somebody else that is also implicated in this. And so this is going to look like fraud, or this is going to look like a scheme or a scam or something. There's a word of warning is a man here too. So some man is after you. And then it ends in the 7 of Pentacles. It's because of something that you have seeded in the past is now coming to harvest before it's time. So you thought maybe you were going to get away with whatever this was, but it has come back just like that. Because again, a major, major, major transformation. And it was almost unexpected because now you're worried. Because you didn't have lawyers at the beginning of this. You have lawyers now, which means whatever this is impacting you quite heavily and you're worried about it.
And who's
and
going to,
you probably know you can't get out of it.
and is she going to have decent legal representation, or is nobody else going to touch that either? Because you're by association, nobody's going to want to freaking touch you. You know,
that's where her 6 of swords pops up, is with the justice. So there is something rough going through the justice system. So I don't think this person is going to be her saving grace. I think they're just going to lessen the impact of her going through. So maybe there's some sort of, if she has a 4-month sentence, maybe I can get you, 30 days or something. But there's something lessened by that.
This is huge. For the person in the chat that was screaming in all caps that Ty Cobbs is not the mustache man, look up a picture of Ty Cobbs. Yes, he is. He's got a mustache and he curls the ends, kind of like the Monopoly guy. He does have a mustache. For her, is she in legal jeopardy? Oh, yeah, for obstruction. There's obstruction here. And then this man, I don't know who this is. I don't know if this is Trump or somebody else. And then boom, yes. So
she's also kind of caught up in the New York thing with Letitia James and Braggs and stuff, because there was some obstruction there of getting the documents to them.
Yeah, it's obstruction for her. So good job. Good job. Should have stuck to insurance. So the thing I wanted to circle back to with Bill Barr. Bill Barr, if everybody's noticed, has been on a rehabilitation tour all over the news this week about how...
Because he has a book out.
He has a book out, but not just that, about everything that Trump did wrong with these classified documents. Well, just recently, do you remember Jeffrey, what was his name?
Eastman?
No. No, Jeffrey Berman. Do you remember Jeffrey Berman?
Oh, he was in New York, wasn't he, at one time?
SDNY in New York. He just wrote a book that, remember when Barr went over there and was trying to pressure him to, and he was like, you're fired. And he's like, fuck you. You don't have the authority to fire me. So then Barr went over there and tried to sugarcoat it for him and try to get him to resign. And he still said, fuck you, I'm not resigning. And then finally Trump fired him. Well, the book hasn't come out yet. I think it comes out next week, but the news media has gotten the ARC copy of it. And apparently in that book, Jeffrey has said, is is saying that William Barr was personally pressuring him to use his department as a federal prosecutor out of the Southern District of New York to go after his perceived political enemies. One of the people that he had on the hit list that he was pressuring Jeffrey to go after was John Kerry. They wanted him to politically prosecute, indict, convict, sentence, all that shit to John Kerry. So I have a couple of questions about that. Has Berman reported this to the Department of Justice IG, first of all? That's the first question.
It's like, quit writing the book, get in there and report it first, and then write your book.
But you got to remember, too, the IG under Trump was shady as hell, too, though. You know, so I don't know if there's a new DOJ IG, but, and I'm not sure if there's statutes of limitations on that, but Berman reported William Barr to the DOJ IG.
I get yes, but he waited for the administration change, for Garland to come in. But and there's a growing case on this, but I get a big yes, but that he waited, until new DOJ came in there. So he went quiet on this, but yes, he talked once the new administration came in. He had a lot to say, caused a lot of anxiety. And I get there's a woman that also talked that kind of like confirmed things he said. So I'm getting there's support backing up what he said. There's other people that also did. But, yep, he had a lot of info.
Again, eventually, with the Eight of Swords, there was restriction at first, and then the plans for the future. But there's documentation here with the Knight of Pentacles, or maybe he just made personal notes like Comey did. Mm-hmm. There's some sort of documentation or some dependability over a manipulative man here with the Magician and King of Swords, Bill Barr.
I get yes. He waited for the transition and for there to be an open path to success. Like I said, I don't know if the IG of the DOJ is still the same as when Trump was there. I would doubt it, even though there's still Trump appointed people throughout the government, like what's his face at the post office that we're still trying to extract. But yeah, so the next question on that one that I have, what happens to Bill Barr because of these accusations?
Get investigated or anything? he's having a little bit of a dark night of the soul, you know, because all this, like, because the tower's on him legally. It's like, but he's known a lot of corrupt people for a very long time, like an abundance of corrupt people. He's good at blocking and obstructing. I do think he'll get brought up on some sort of charge. And I get like bullying, so like obstructing or bullying, or maybe for going after the enemies or something. But I get he like gives some details about Trump or something. So I think he may end up sort of flipping to protect himself. There's some sort of agreement that's made, and that kind of puts it to bed. So does he go to jail? I don't think so. I think he gets the strength card. But something's going to grow from whatever details he gives.
There's some sort. I got a bunch of pentacles. They don't mean money necessarily, though, because there's some sort of document delivered here that causes a bit of a balance issue to where he is now going to have to possibly lawyer up to. But there's something in his life that is going to add more chaos. And the word of warning is the page or the Ace of Pentacles, which means this in particular thing that's being delivered causes a lot of issues. There's an investigation that happens. It's ongoing, though, so this is not a one and done type thing. There's something going on into bully tactics and dishonorable behavior. And so there may be an abusive office type of thing. Don't expect like insurrection charges or sedition charges or anything like that, but you could possibly have someone at least investigate, again, assess and investigate into the abuse of power or manipulation, something like that.
Yeah, because he got out of there before January 6th.
Oh,
He
but
saw
he
what
knew
was
what was
coming.
happening. He knew what was going to happen. And instead of reporting it, he's like, peace out. And then he wrote that nice ass-kissing letter before he was like, peace out. You know, I get coffin, dog, key, clouds, and book. So one way to interpret this, there was an ending and a loss, and his loyalty is highly questionable, perhaps because of some sort of a book. This could be quite literally a book that he's writing. The question was, what happens to him? I don't get interviews with FBI or anything at all. There may be people perhaps that worked around him or worked for him or were perhaps intermingled with the Justice Department in some way, shape, or form that may have access to stuff that brings problems, but it remains classified or we hear about it, if that makes sense.
Done in secret.
Yeah, it's done in secret. It's private. So I don't know. I don't see Barney Rubble getting into any sort of issue. So, which is unfortunate because, you know, I just can't with his rehabilitation tour. It's like, you helped him for the last, I don't know how many years. You were well aware of the insurrection and the plot. And yet,
you saved him because Mueller had him against the wall. You saved him.
Yeah.
You saved him.
I can't. So Twitter has been showing these videos, and they have the timeline set of when the National Archives sent Trump a letter saying, hey, we want our documents back. And then, or we're missing documents, we want them back. There's a video of him and his aides. Well, he's not doing it. His aides are doing it. Carrying boxes off of his plane onto another plane to go to Bedminster, New Jersey. The Grand Tableau, and not just the Grand Tableau, we would all be idiots to think that he only kept classified documents in Mar-a-Lago. You'd be stupid to think that that's the only place he had.
And all the lawyers and people, you know, the political commentators are like, search his other properties.
But the thing is, you cannot get a search warrant without you having probable cause. So you can't just say, well, we didn't find anything. We think he might have it there. You have to show probable cause. So I'm thinking perhaps waiting for information from an informant around him or something like that. But put that aside. Will the FBI get a search warrant for Bedminster?
now that these videos and photos are surfacing.
Well, I'm sure that the FBI knew about this way before the public put 2 and 2 together. You know, like, but they still have to show probable cause. They can't just bring that into court and say, see this video? We think this is it. They need more than that to get a search warrant. So will the FBI get a search warrant for Bedminster?
That was in his, I think his spread I did too. No, it wasn't really, because it was like there is some sort of search being done for a place he doesn't own, though. So there might be a third place. We'll see. Is that where Ivana is?
I think so. I don't know.
If you raid, take your shovel.
If that's where Baba the goat herder is, that's where Milani is.
Take your shovel.
Oh, Twitter's blowing up with that shit too. Oh, check Ivana's coffin while you're at it. I mean, I know it sounds insane and we all speculate, but
everybody's saying it on the news now and in the media and stuff. Something's getting ready to happen fast on this because of maybe those videos. Tower, and here's the search warrant completed over treachery. Checking his other family places and doing the work. And this may be like a nighttime raid kind of thing, but charging in, looking around, trying to find them. But I get a big old yes, they get a search warrant.
Yes, and take your shovel too. I don't say this, but I'm saying that.
Johnie,
but yes, you
got the shovel. All gardening tools, so that would be like a shovel. Shovels, rakes, scissors, knives. Sorry, Johnie, go ahead.
That's all. I mean, that's yes. There will be yes. The investigator. Yes. There's your notice. Yes, it will be.
I got my first card was fish, which is a yes. Then I got tower and scythe. So yes, legal decision. Yes, perhaps something at a tower as well. So Trump Tower or anywhere else where a tall building, a company. And then scythe, these two together would be an abundance of legal decisions, abundance of legal danger here. But not just at Bedminster, could also be in a big tall building somewhere that he, like Johnie was saying in his grand tableau, that he doesn't own but he leases. Well, he doesn't own Trump Tower, does he? He just leases out the name.
It has a name on it.
Yeah. He used to own it. I thought because he sold a bunch of the condos to like Russians and Saudi Arabian people. So he owned it at one time, but I think there's something strange with it now.
Keith Olbermann was telling me there's a building he lived in, Trump Tower, but Trump didn't own it. So they were trying to get a petition to take Trump's name off of it because it was driving their property value down while he was running for president at the time. So I don't know if it's that one or does he have multiples? I don't really know, but
he's got a Trump Tower like building here in the Chicago area too that I don't think he owns it. I think he just has his name on it or something.
Yep. I'm seeing in the chat Maria saying the worst you can think of is probably the truth. That's exactly
when it comes to him. Yes,
because it's one thing to sit here and speculate. We all would have never put it past him to steal shit. I mean, hell, he had an aide go to the French embassy or whatever it was and steal something.
We never thought he'd plop his ex-wife on the first hole at his golf club. We
never thought he would eat classified documents. He ate classified. I mean, so
they better take One-Eyed Stewie Rhodes with them and dig tunnels under there and find all the crap.
I'm serious, Jenny, because it's one thing to speculate. Given the person that we're speaking about, who gives you every right to think that. But at this point, it's still speculation. But then it's
Like,
found
who
out
thought
with
he'd do
substantial evidence, and it's like, what the fuck?
who would have thought he'd be stupid enough to push for an insurrection and stuff? It's like, you can't get crazy enough with this man. You just can't.
There's
I'm
no
not a
bottom.
conspiracy theorist, but I tell you, whatever comes up in the cards, it's like, yeah, probably true.
Like Johnie and you were saying, Johnny's saying there is no bottom, and you're saying that whatever comes up in the cards, however crazy it sounds, is probably true. But I still reserve a small amount of skepticism because it's like, that shit sounds crazy. But then when it happens, you're like, holy fuck!
Who would have thought that so many people would fall for drinking their own urine or eating mud from Canada and stuff? Like,
Because I mean, if somebody sat and told you the story that Donald Trump's ex-wife is going to die and he's going to bury her in his golf course so that he can get a tax break, you would think, well, yeah, he does anything for money, but that's a little low. No.
There's no bottom to his lowness, and there's no bottom to the craziness with him and his supporters.
But I mean, and think about this. He stole a shit ton of classified documents, and people are speculating, and, you know, we've read it in the cards. Some people, I think you, Jenny, were getting that he was going to sell it. I think Johnnie was getting leverage. I think I was getting leverage. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But in my mind, I'm like, you have got to be beyond fucking stupid to steal classified documents and be like, ha, 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 I'm going to use this against you. Like, you realize that you're committing a serious felony. Like, if there's a reason to drop a nuke on your head, this would be
espionage.
it.
And espionage is a treasonous act, and every other spy we've ever had in this country has gotten hung if they didn't, except for Benedict Arnold, who got the hell out and went back to England.
And keep in mind, a lot of people in the beginning were saying, well, why don't they charge him for treason? Treason is specific. You have to give another country something that gives them an edge over the United States. That's what this would be. If he gave classified documents to other countries, that would be your
treason is also giving aid or comfort to those who commit insurrection, which is what he did by stalling for hours and then saying, oh, we know you're good people, you know, go home, and you know, giving aid and comfort to them.
To go along with what I was saying earlier, that I'm just like, I wouldn't put it past them, but I still hold on to a level of skepticism. Well, when I was on the Twitter the other day, you will not believe the reports that are starting to surface about when the CIA in 2019 were saying that they were losing a bunch of human informants, either getting killed or getting captured, and they had to start pulling people out.
Yep.
How long has he been stealing documents?
You can't. They had to pull one out of Russia, you know, because he, you know, told Putin about it. You know, the Russians, day one in office, day one.
Yeah. So it's like, so, and then if he sold shit, oh my God, you have got to be beyond stupid.
Whether he sold it or he used it, you know, to get something he wanted, like, I want to build a Trump Tower in Moscow, so here, have all this classified information.
Or Jared Kushner getting $2 billion from the Saudis because he's such a great investor. I mean, if they can prove that.
I have a question, because somebody's like, it may be decades. Will we ever truly know? I want to ask, will we ever know everything that Trump did?
The extent of his fuckery?
Because it just grows and grows. Like, I can't even keep up with all the names that have been impacted by him.
No. And it's like every time you turn around, there's a new scandal that you forgot about.
Will we, you know, after he's gone, will we ever know the full extent of everything he did?
Will we ever be made aware of the full extent of everything he did?
All right, guys, don't get petty with me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. dude, if that's the case and they don't cremate the motherfucker when he's dead, I vote for resurrecting him. Get that fucker on life support or something so we can slowly kill him. And I'm talking full on torture, not just CIA waterboarding at this point. And that's sick of me to say, but no, like,
When I first looked at the bottom of my deck, I had the Queen of Wands, and I heard Melania will write a tell-all. I'm like, oh yeah, like she knows that, like she's smart enough to know everything that went on.
Seriously,
but this is investigations that'll continue on the bully. He will be looked at differently. A lot of judgment on him over the insurrection and anyone that supported him. Yes. All these aces coming out. Yes. All the investigations of his criminal things. America will see the framework, at least, around everything that he did and his network that helped him. So it's going to take a long time, though. But I'm getting 3 aces. That's a big yes.
I get yes and no. I get we will know what, but maybe not all. So, like, for instance, you'll know he stole documents, but you won't know every single person he gave them to. But you can speculate, and that's enough, really, because, I mean, what the hell? But there's the 3 of Swords. There's some sort of betrayal here. 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, the lack, the loss, the grief, the sorrow, the mistakes. So yes, you will see it, but maybe the full scope of it will not be necessarily felt, nor seen, or investigated, or realized. This may be something that trickles throughout the years even, but you'll know what. You just may not know the exact extent.
And it's going to take years and decades to clean up the shit stain that is Donald Trump. Not just reputationally, but national security, our allies' national security, regaining the trust in the United States. Because who's our allies to say, well, fuck, we just lived through 4 years of Trump, and now we're finding out our national security was at risk because you know, he left the White House.
Another candidate like him comes along, and then all of our allies are looking like they're going to do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah, every time a Republican comes in, they're going to like get fearful.
Yeah, and not just any Republican president, any Republican sitting member of Congress, because they nurtured that for 4 years.
Our foreign allies are going to sit here and watch. Like, do we hold them accountable or not? I don't care how long it takes. And if they don't, then we're going to lose a lot of faith from our allies.
America will show its ass on the world stage, and we will never be trusted again. And it's not bad enough that we've already slipped to number 26 on the list of democracies. Remember when Trump was still in office, even before he left? Well, they were on a democracy, I think, like some sort of democracy watch, because political scientists and the rest of the world, scholars, were in fear of our democracy withstanding Donald Trump because of how bad and the shift towards fascism in this country. And it would be different if it was just one man. You had every Republican within the levers of power backing it up, knowing better and backing it up. I get yes that we will eventually learn the links that are significant to the results or paperwork. They're about perhaps the gifts that were given, briberies, stuff like that. Yes, we will learn. But I'm with Johnie. Not all of it's going to be made public for national security reasons. But it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. It's not like, well, we're going to find out next week. You know, just God damn, dude. God damn. I just can't believe. I just. And what's funny is the other day, Mitch McConnell was at a podium talking some fucking crazy nonsense, and a reporter asked him, "Hey, what do you feel? How do you feel about the news that Donald Trump stole a bunch of classified documents?" I have nothing to comment on that. And then he fucking ran away. It's like, really? Really? You nurtured that motherfucker for 4 years and saved his ass from 2 legitimate impeachments, and then you run away.
The Trump flags are coming down in the neighborhoods. Like, nobody puts them up anymore.
Nope. So in line with the stuff that we were just talking about, is the DOJ or FBI, will the FBI and the ODNI be able to identify the chain of custody for the documents that are missing?
Everybody, yeah, because there's forensic tests being done on some of them for fingerprints, like who all held it.
Yep.
And if you've got a security clearance, your fingerprints are going to be on file.
And even if you don't have a security clearance, your fingerprints are still going to be on file unless you were smart enough to use gloves.
What people let these documents go that shouldn't have?
No, will they be able to trace the chain of custody? Because there was a break somewhere in that chain of custody.
Big time.
And all them people that helped them. Ooh,
yeah, and how many movers of the boxes? You hire a moving company to come in and load the truck to move your boxes back to Mar-a-Lago and all your other stuff, your clothes and everything. You know, who's to say there wasn't a Russian spy working for the moving company?
Yeah, and Jenny, Mar-a-Lago is only his part-time residence. So while he was in Bedminster, all that shit was sitting in fucking Mar-a-Lago with nothing. Nobody's supervising. People come in and go, and spies all over the place. People, even the workers, do not have the clearance to be around that shit. You know, and it's like, girl, I can't. The aides handling those boxes do not have the security clearance to handle half the shit that was in those boxes. So will the ODNI be able to identify the chain of custody on the classified documents?
I think that was in his tableau too. Is that there's some people along the way that touched things that they should not have, even if they didn't know what it was they had. But you still had classified documents in your hand. You're going to be questioned and possibly in trouble because you helped the transportation of an illegal act here.
Yeah.
Knowingly or not. Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
I mean, I don't even know if the stupid motherfuckers that decided to continue to work for Trump after his administration, if their innocence and not knowing he said, hey, take this box, and you just picked it up without looking at the contents, are you still legally liable? Because that you did not have the authority to even touch that shit. Even if it was in a box, you didn't know it was there. So, I mean, it's like, are they in trouble too? The people that just without knowing just did what they were told? And
there's a lot of sneaky people that they already have had knowledge of for a long time. So, you know, he might have replaced, like, you know, the head of the FBI and all these departments and defense and everything, but there were still people under them that had top level clearances and stuff that were aware of what's going on. So they've had knowledge for a long time. They know, even before he left, they had everything they needed to kind of work with to know what was missing and everything. So they're talking, asking a lot of questions. I get there's a bunch of insiders that were the emissary for the king. So there's a bunch of people working for Trump's aides, the aides aide, everybody. You know, it's huge. There's a lot of people that are going to be put on the defense, a lot of indictments coming. And then for the whole Trump family, kaboom.
I mean, I guess the lawyers are going to be well employed because, dear God.
They're all national security, you know, the whole Trump family, they're all national security risks now.
Fuck yeah. They were before they fucking went in.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get clearances.
I mean, you know, Jared, I mean, why did he get $2 billion from the Saudis? I'm sure he gave him something on Israel or something.
Yeah.
You know, he probably gave him classified info on Israel or whoever.
I remember there was a whistleblower during the Trump administration who got shot down and then fired because they whistleblowed that Jared Kushner was pushing to give nuclear energy information to the Saudis. And the people in the intelligence community were waving the flag, screaming at the top of their lungs. And then they all got fired. You know? Sorry, Johnny.
I get yes. As far as will they be able to trace, there's literally the work here, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, security work. There's your clearance or your Ace of Swords, your clarity. And then the 2 of Pentacles or 2 of Cups. So the people involved, the cooperation, the unions, the contracted people, Page of Cups or Page of Pentacles with the 2 of Cups. So people that they know, yes, there is a chain for this. Because mind you, these are not things that you can just go pick up and take somewhere. These are things that all have to be documented, inventoried, blah, blah, blah. They got somebody's name on it somewhere. And if you're not going to tell me who it is, once I come to you, then you're going to get in trouble for the both of you. So it's that kind of thing too, just like even if the aides pick up the box, don't know what it is they're carrying. If it's full of heroin and they catch you with it, they can still put some charges on you. Now, if you're going to cooperate with me, then I'll say, okay, you were just ignorant and didn't know, slap on the wrist, here we go. But if you want to be obstructionist about it and not tell me everything you know or everything I want to know, then you're going down for it. Same thing.
Again, there's your classified stuff. There's your link. There's a box here. So classified link and then ends here or a box. But then there's a log from the network. So yeah, they may have not logged stuff in or tried to cut corners one way, shape, or the other, but there's still a network log. So, and when I say network,
it wasn't like yes, he took them out of the White House at the end of his presidency, but he probably took some out even before then. He was collecting stuff all through his 4 years. It wasn't like he just suddenly got all this stuff on the last day and packed it up. He was taking documents all through his presidency. Thank God he spent as many days as he did on the golf course, or he probably would have gotten more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Jenny. Exactly. You know, so it's, oh my gosh, we can spend
every day
all
he's
night
out golfing, he's probably not getting his hands on some documents.
No, but you know what he probably is doing? Running his mouth to all these other people about shit that shouldn't. I mean, there's pictures
like
of him.
Lindsey Graham. He's golfing with Lindsey all the damn time. You know what? I want to know, was Lindsey aware he was taking classified documents? Because he was golfing with him all the time.
Does Lindsey Graham know Trump was taking classified documents? Does Lindsey Graham know?
Because he made calls for him to Georgia and other states. So did he know?
Lindsey Graham
Roro. That's not a toy.
You know what? I hate to say this, and I've thought about it, but I hate to say it. Simply because it's named after one of my favorite characters from one of my favorite series. But we should start referring to Trump as Dirty Hands, because that motherfucker, if he's proven himself to be anything, it's a goddamn thief.
Tiny dirty hands.
He's a fucking thief. He's a goddamn thief. And I'm sorry, Kez Brecker, but I'm going to have to borrow your name. You know?
I think he did. I think he did. He's got a lot of regrets, and a lot of conversations and talking about who to bully, who to push, that kind of thing. I think he knows all the details. And he's trying to block people from knowing he knew about it. He may end up whistleblowing eventually through the court system, but when he's trapped, he'll whistleblow. He'll flip on Trump because Lindsey's loyal to nothing but Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Yes, he knows more specifically because the Three of Pentacles, the Hermit, the Lovers, he knows specifically about something that left the country too, with the
Jesus
Six of
Christ.
Swords. So he knows even more specifically about that.
And in that, remember I was texting you guys the other day because the Grand Tableau starts the first 4 lines, first 4 cards, storks, letter, ship, crossroads. And I was saying documents were transferred or moved to other properties because Crossroads sits in house. And I bit my tongue, but I texted it to you guys. I was like, oh my God, what if it means that it was transferred overseas somewhere else? Like you couldn't talk. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had on the bottom. Thank you, Impish.
Did he know? Liar and a betrayer, and then happy. So a false friend, two-faced, bootlicker. And then there's your thievery. So yeah, he knew. He knew. Now I'm starting to wonder if he may have raised some flags because this talks about betrayal. And this is someone that speaks with a forked tongue. So I'm wondering if he was there to be happy and bootlick, but was also perhaps betraying him and notifying somebody about some of the thievery. But did he know? Yeah. Yeah, he knew. I can't. So on with the, I mean, we can stay here and talk about this mess all night, and it's just like.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's been out of office for a year and a half, almost 2 years, and there's still so much to read on with him. Like I tell you, for the next 4 years, we'll be doing Sunday nights and talking about damn trials.
For the next 4 years, Jenny, how about 10? How about 10? Because you're not going to clean this up in 4 years. It's a fucking disaster. Like, I mean, what else can you possibly think of that is so ridiculous that he probably did? Because he probably did it. As outlandish sounds. Because I don't know. I'm gonna just shut my mouth. But on to other news.
He's a rapist, so I mean, nothing has believed him.
A thief.
I have a creative mind, but I can't even think of anything crazy enough that he might have done.
What I want to know is how the people at the Onion were able to. I mean, the people at the Onion were making up such ridiculous shit that they were looking like psychics over there because they would just write the craziest story, and then like a couple weeks later, it would come true.
That's amazing.
So maybe the Onion should have their own, card reading YouTube channel to come up with some crazy action. They were getting it right.
So let's ask, what else did Trump do that we don't know about yet? Is there anything else big that we don't know about yet?
How many cards do you pull for such a thing?
6 decks, Johnie. 6 whole decks. You think a Grand Tableau is bad?
There's not enough devils in the deck for a Grand Tableau on Trump.
What else did Trump do that we don't know about yet?
Ace of Swords trying to fall out. Sword of Truth. There's just so much to choose from. It's just. There is something else with Ivana's death that's going to come out. There's something else around her death that we're going to look at differently around her death, involving details with money. Big yes, something he's grifted off her death or something. There's something else about money that he changed, so laundered or something, or changed who it went to or something. There's that sounded a bitch, the executor of her will. There's something he's changing. Treachery. What do y'all get?
I get there is a lie around Texas death of an older person, whether it's her or like his father or somebody, but somebody old or older. There was once romance there, so it could be her. But there's something to do with taxes or steady money too. There's a lie here. Something that seems like it was the truth was actually a lie or was covered up, has something to do around the death or the details of a death that may have some dishonor within it. Someone older, and something he kept or something he wanted diminished, like a tax or something like that.
I did a double line of 5. Top is mountain, heart, coffin, child, storks. I would read that as some sort of obstruction for a passion or love ends and a new change or a new move. Underneath, that coffin is mice. So it could be, because this is a loss and this is a loss. Symbolically speaking, quite literally a coffin or a box. And here's something that's stolen. So, I mean. Scythe and coffin, one reader read this as an accident that brings about a death, a sudden loss, a sudden ending. Also also up, cutting out something from the ground. So also something here, some sort of extortion as well. Options for extortion with something that was stolen that is very super significant, that has to do with perhaps ships, vehicles, or something abroad that's very, very, very important. But the intention or the option was there's the extortion, stolen, and then your options there. So it was almost like options to use something that he stole as a method of extortion to get them out and get him out of something, get him out of trouble. You see, hold on. Also something about perhaps a strike or some sort of an accident that happened abroad that resulted in a sudden loss. Also, another thing as well about the elections, overturning the elections. There's also something here about, there's the overturning, there's the elections. Hold on. And it goes beyond the obstruction, because right now we know about the obstruction, the insurrectionist, all that, but there's something else there about
something
overturning.
Else he did around the elections.
Yeah, to overturn it, because there's an accident and a rupture. An accident and a rupture, sudden deaths. So perhaps there were plans or something to stage something domestic, if you will, because this tells me there's a team of people. This is a group of people. They work in a team. So I'll remember this and I'll look at it later to see if I can, because I'm hurrying through it. But on to other more petty news. Our favorite person, the piece of shit, Stephen Miller, the Jewish Nazi, has found himself in a bit of a pickle because he had to go. He got put under grand jury subpoena for the Save America PAC, which is under federal investigation for fraud. Oh, and he also got subpoenaed for the what was that? The fake elector scheme. So,
And didn't the January 6th committee also subpoena him? I think he got whammed by both.
yeah,
Yes.
so he's got January 6th committee here, but then he's gotten the federal stuff over here because the feds are looking into the Save America PAC. So they got him on that, and now they're getting him as well on the fake elector scheme because he was behind.
Lay your hair on, Stephen, because you're going to visit.
And I have one request. I have one request to the gods that be. Before you send that little piece of shit into jail, tattoo a big old fucking Nazi sign on his forehead and throw him into the blackest populated prison you can find. Throw him to the wolves. And I know that sounds awful, but we have kids in this country that are still orphans because of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so no sympathy. But how do you want to start this, Jenny? Like, because that's
his grand jury.
There's two grand juries for him.
So what was the two?
The first one is the Save America PAC, which is the money that's been raised.
Let's look at how the campaign fraud will go. Will he be indicted over anything? Will he
I think Stephen wants to sit in on this reading, so we'll sit Stephen.
Baby head, spray some hair on that baby.
I'll sit Stephen in on this reading.
If there's one son of a bitch that I would sit there and drink 10 bottles of champagne, I don't care the type of hangover I get the next day to watch that perp walk and go to prison, is him. He was evil little.
I can't even stand to listen to him talk. I feel sorry for the grand jury. Like I feel
sorry for his kid. The kid him and his Nazi wife just popped out, you know. So the question was, the outcome of the Save America PAC grand jury for Stephen Miller.
That's going to be a big problem for him. The money that came in, big tower moment. He drags Trump into it, and I get there's a strong legal case because he worked together with Trump, partnered with him. I get a big old yes, he's going to get an indictment, and more questions thrown at him about things that they did also overseas, like did they transfer any money or something.
The 6 of Wands and the 5 of Pentacles. Here is the money missing, him at the center of it too. There is a lot of treachery that's being uncovered and some very, very, very harsh judgments being put upon those who were involved as well. The moon shows no good side to you whatsoever. It ends in the strength. There is some sort of, you're being subdued somehow. So I don't know if you're cooperating or something is happening to where you're being subdued some way, somehow by this man here. So I don't know if this is going to be a prosecutor or if this is going to be an investigator or somebody's coming in that sort of brings you to heel, Stephen. And it goes on from there, because this is not a quick one and done type thing either for you.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall for that, because you know how he loves to run his mouth and act like a tough shit. I would love to see him run his mouth on a case that's about to bring him felony charges. Because Johnny said if somebody's going to subdue you, I wonder if that's a prosecutor that starts to squeeze his fucking little brainy ass nuts and he's sitting there like, oh, like how he likes to be all act like a tough ass, like the Nazi he is. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, I get gifts of money, significant obstacles or delays, and then him. So he's linked because there's the gifts, the fundraising, that's significant. There's something about him where they tie him into some sort of obstruction because it's obstruction and him. It can also be read as, because I asked, show me the outcome of his trial for the Save America pack. Well, it's showing me the pack here with these three, the bouquet, the fish, and the, what is that, key? But then these are the last two cards, delays and obstruction, and then him. So I don't know if this means that he might be able to weasel his way out of it, but here it says the gifts, access, and then him. So he may try to, oh, I wasn't involved, I didn't do that, like Stonewall. They still got you, homeboy. So it's like they have them, but there might be some stonewalling first, and then, if he wants to go play Bravo with federal prosecutors, by all means, go ahead. I'm here for it.
Piles of money.
People always think they're tough, so they got to go to court or jail.
I vote for jail.
What was his other case?
The other case is he was involved with the fake electors, so he got subpoenaed for that too.
That's right. I forgot.
So they don't make these
election meddling. Let's see. Is he going to have some problems?
I have a follow-up question too.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I'll let you come out. You want to come out? Go ahead. Happy to see you, Ten of Swords.
I can't read on Stephen Miller without getting the devil.
Hey, don't bring me into this, okay? I'm tired of being the scapegoat.
Call the devil by name. Be prepared to entertain. As I say.
You got competition, Becca. Yeah, I get. Can't you find some boats over here or lose some boats over there? There's the devil. I think he'll also, besides that, he might get drawn into the insurrection also. But yeah, I get a big yes. He's going to have legal problems over the electoral thing, and he may be part of the inspiration behind it. I know Eastman, I think, was the one that wrote the letter that drummed most of it off. But there's most of it up. But I feel like he might be behind some of the inspiration of some of the things. So he'll be put in a defense mode. And anybody else that partnered with him, I get there's 2 more men also.
I do too. 2 men and a woman, and also an older married pair with the birds. What you get, Johnny?
Same thing. There's 2 men, a woman as well, and possibly pair. But the Pentacle's always a team for me when they show up same suit. There is, because there's more people with this. There's more people with this than just him, of course. But there's some other people going down this. This is going to start with loss. So we start there, and then things just sort of develop. There's more loss with the 5 of Pentacles as well. There's also possibly some evidence missing. So that may need to be be something that they need to take into account, because there's also a person possibly missing as well too. So maybe this person is being hidden by everybody else, or they have tickets to the park or something of the nature, but there's a person no longer in this either. There's something that needs to be assessed. This may take some time, but everything that comes out causes extreme worry. This is not something that is going to be over in just a little bit. This is also, this is a web. So it's very, very, very involved. And as I said, it starts with loss for him. So this is going to hurt, like, a lot.
Good riddance. What I asked to show me the outcome of his trial for the fake electors, fucked. So here's your lies and your betrayals. There's big chaos. There's obstruction, patience, and then he's going to sing like a bird. Now, this could quite possibly be a woman, dark hair, dark eyes, possibly, not always, that could have brown hair whose name may start with an S, like a
Sidney Powell.
Like a Sidney Powell. Here you have another man, king of clubs, someone erratic, confused, doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Farts a lot.
Here,
Giuliani.
Here you have another man that could be a little bit wiser, a little bit more calm. And then here you have, this traditionally is an older pair, an older married pair. But this is also talking about meetings. So what is he going to sing about? He's going to sing about the meetings that were had between this woman, these two men, and what this couple was going to do. To do what? Obstruct. So, because this is central to the reading. So it's I don't anticipate this to be over anytime soon, because Lily's is here. This is saying patience. This card is usually associated to the winter. Birds is associated to the winter, because if you look there, card number 12, December. I didn't ask for timing. I'm just saying be patient. This is going to take a while. And also it's going to lead to a lot of interviews where he's going to sing against all these people and tell them about the meetings and stuff, which I'm
so
sure
Mr.
that
Tough Talk will crumble like a
he will.
little wimp.
Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't recall. Talk all kinds of shit until you get put under oath, and there's consequences for your lies. Johnie, you had a follow-up question.
Will his lawyers be effective? Since everybody in Trump's fear, lawyer needs a lawyer, will his lawyers be effective for his defense?
Oh, also with the lilies in the previous reading, that could be someone of veteran status as well, judges as well. So
it's like initially at first with the details, yes, and he may have some sort of celebrity lawyer, but then there's a burden because there's a different perspective and there's a manipulation, like things keep changing. He's going to get caught in a perjury trap. He's going to keep changing the story, and he's going to become, I think, central to this whole network. So will they be effective? No, because he's going to be trapped in justice and going away. This is his legacy. You know, he's going to spend a lot of money on lawyers too.
Yeah.
Like
I think it depends on what you mean by effective, because the Six of Swords is here with the Four of Pentacles. There could be some sort of lessening of a burden, but it is not an escape from your burden. The Nine of Wands, this is heavy. It's going to stay heavy because the Wheel of Fortune is here throughout this entire time. And the thing about it is this is not just going to stay heavy, it's going to stay expensive too, because this is going to drag on for 838 years. And so the Nine of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune is not the greatest of combinations, because Nine of Wands is overworked. You're tired, you're worn out. And the Wheel of Fortune is just the wheel of life. It goes on and on and on and on. And you kind of are ready for the Nine of Wands to stop, but the card afterwards is the Ten of Wands. And so that means it does not stop, it gets worse. And so they may be able to lessen the blow, like you won't get 10 years, you'll maybe get 8.5, but they are not going to be cheap. This is not going to be quick. This is going to take a long time, and good for you.
Couldn't happen to a nicer son of a bitch, huh? The first card I pulled, because I was asking for one card, was this. This is neutral, Crossroads. So I pulled one more. No. This is a very rash, sudden, dangerous decision. This says no. So then I pulled one more to get the full story. I get Storks. No, the charge comes from the change, the insurrection here. What he was trying to change to overthrow something in the elections with Crossroads and Storks, overturning the elections and his choice. And there's your charge that puts him in danger. No.
So looks like he's going to serve some time in jail. How's his finances going to be?
I'm going to ask you how long he's going to spend in jail. Because you know what? If they throw that little piece of shit in there for 2 or 3 months, I will riot. I will riot.
If these people, like, they're starting to get bigger and bigger sentences now for some of the people that involved in the insurrection. But when they get to these people that organize it, they better be putting them in for 20, 30, 40 years.
Oh, fuck yeah. Especially when the idiots on the ground, the brown shirts, okay? I get the ones that are getting strong sentences for bringing weapons and beating cops and all that. That's good. But the people that had access to the levels of power, triple it. Go as far as the law will let you, because that should send a message across the board to the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Lowen Boebert. This is not acceptable, and you will be held accountable, you know? So what's the question? I'm going to ask, how long will he serve in prison? Right. Did the creepy baby head eat something, Johnie?
I get the Ace of Pentacles. There's your opportunities for money. Your Knight of Pentacles. There's your steady money. So far so good. And then you get the Death in the Tower. So yeah, no, not so good anymore. There's a huge change and it brings disaster. Something was foolish within it too.
Sell your house, dude, because and I get that, like, in secret, like his wife, like, he's given hidden money away with her, but you're gonna be making license plate, your association with the fool, all that money just dwindles away. He doesn't have it. He's having to lawyer up, and he doesn't have it. He's gonna try to hang on what he can through all the court things, but you're getting indicted. Truth's coming out. His money's going. He's going to have to sell his house.
Timing is difficult, so take this with a grain of salt. I would say more than 3 years, because I asked in years, not months. This is typically 3 months, but there's 3, and then Sun is 31. This is my success card, so I'd say about 3 years. Which, God damn it, Lock him up for 20.
There are people in Nixon's administration who were sentenced to 18, 19 months. Some 3, I think 3 years was like one of the bigger sentences, something like that. This is treason. This is sedition.
Yes.
20, 30 years. Come on, people.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And then while you're at it, throw him in the blackest prison you can find. That is the most crowded, so you feel the pain you caused to all those immigrants that were trying to come over here before you took their babies away. You know, with a Nazi flag on your head, so you can get paid. You know,
if he doesn't have one when he goes in, I'm sure they'll put one on him in there.
Yeah, let's see how big
give him a tattoo.
Mr. White supremacist Nazi is going to be when he's sitting in prison. So
they usually do to survive.
What's that?
So they usually do. That's how they survive, so they don't get beat up.
Yeah, he'll find the other white supremacist, but he'll be the weakest one in the link because the guy's this big and he's a paper pusher, Johnny. It's not like he's out in the street in street gangs. He's a paper pusher. Privileged man. You think he's not gonna be low hanging fruit for the white Nazis in prison? I mean, get out of here. So, anyways, we're done. That's all we got. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out.
Bye, Birdie.
Be on Johnny's channel next week.
We'll be on Johnny's next week. Be sure to look out for Johnny Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. He does 1 hour lives all the time. So he answers a bunch of questions. I will try to go live this week to do some more grand tableaus. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.